Okay, this is a quick tutorial on block printing. We're going to be using EasyCut blocks today. This is an example of pre-cut block print here. You can see that the EasyCut vinyl makes it pretty flexible. You could print on curved surfaces and whatnot. Much like a stamp, you carve away everything that you don't want to print. Okay, so when you first get your print block, it looks something like this. It has a white substance on it, a flour of some sort to separate it during packaging so that it doesn't get smudges. It's incredibly sticky once it's washed off. This is a pre-washed one. I went and used hot soapy water, washed off really thoroughly, and we're gonna go ahead and use this to show you the transfer process. So once this is clean, and I want to make a carving of this so that I can then print it. If I want to do that, it's nice to have a pre-drawing. So what I've used here today is I have gone ahead and traced an old Vincent Van Gogh painting of a skeleton. I'm going to peel that off. This traced version, I'm going to flip it upside down, place it on the block. I'm going to rub it with the backside of a pencil. Just make sure you have real good contact on that. You can even get individual lines with the back end of a pencil if you'd like, a drawing pencil. Okay, and we should be able to peel this up and find that most of it is stuck, at least enough for us to draw it through. Okay, as we peel up, we find indeed that image has come across. So we're going to carve on it. This is a speedball cutter tool here. On the back end, I've stored some blades. Make sure you always return the blades where they need to be. And the front end of this, everybody always does the same thing. They're trying to fit it in. They're not sure which end to fit in. And so eventually they just unscrew the chuck too much and the whole thing drops out and these hit the floor. And these little pieces, if they hit the floor, they bounce about 10 feet. So watch out for that. Keep track of it. It has kind of a bullet shape to it. You want the bullet end to go in and the flat end to be flush with the back side of the hole on this. So I drop it in together. But notice that these two pieces come apart nicely. That's actually where your blade, the connection part of the blade, is going to go in between. So I drop that in, screw that back on. You never really want to unscrew it all the way. It just happens, so you better know what to do when it does. I slide that in between the two layers and tighten the chuck. Now I have something that will carve away material. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm never going to put my hand in front of it. The only time I see injuries in this class is where people put their hand in front of the print and it slips and they gouge themselves, and this does not leave a clean wound. So be careful with that. Instead, you want to put your hand behind it and then carve up and around. You want to follow your subject closely. This is pretty spongy material, so to get good detail out of it, you have to make sure that you're not gouging into it too much. You're sliding it along. And very satisfying, pulls off in little pieces. Careful to throw those away when you're done. And we're going to move ahead here, but you can see how that carving process works. Okay, so on most of your carvings, so this is a done one, you're going to want to leave some kind of border. Okay, we're going to print this momentarily. I've also included words on this one because everybody tries words and they always mess it up. You know, they put it right side and then it ends up printing out backwards. This says game over, and I paired it with an image of an old motorcycle cop, which will reveal that as we print it. But you want to make sure that it's going reverse on the print, so it goes right side when you print it. Okay. There's many different blade sizes, of course. You can see all these different fine levels of detail, starting from a 1. A 1 is the finest level of detail, all the way up to a 6, which is pretty thick. Okay. I'm gonna put those in the back end of the speedball cutter. Set that to the side. All right. Just briefly, I'll show you what you can do. Larger cuts. I always have an edging to them, same as this. I left a little bit of an edging here. When you're working with this kind of soft material, you don't always have to do this with a harder material like wood or linoleum, but on a softer material, I always leave an edge, a border. It helps those negative spaces that you cut away to actually not print or flop onto your paper that you're printing on in any way. Here's an example of the final that I worked on. The final piece, I ended up printing on a piece of wood, adding different materials to it. You can do whatever you want with prints. I added paint to this. I did all kinds of other things. Make it kind of goofy. And the next part of that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lay a print down. So I put some speedball ink right down onto the clear sheet. I use a brayer. This brayer, when I set it down like this so it doesn't actually leave any kind of marks. And I just pull out a little bit at a time, lifting it up each time. and I pull it out until it's making a sandpaper-like sound. Sandpaper sound is just right. So go ahead and I lay that right over my image. And I set this down again, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of paper pre-cut to the size. I'm just going to level it out and drop it all at once. I'm going to press it with the back of my hand, put nice pressure on it. Then I'm going to flip it over. As I flip this over, I'll rub the back side with my hand. Front side will have too much friction. You can also use a wooden spoon. Some people like to use paper towels. And I let the friction kind of draw the ink through. Then I peel a corner up on it, and I'm left with a really clean, nice image. And when you sign these, sign them in pencil. Make sure you date them. Or write what print number it is. If you've made 15 prints, you might write 3 of 5. All right, that's it.